So here it is, YouTube. I'm Roadhawk Wilson, welcoming you to 10 Minutes with Roadhawk Wilson, where all the stories are entirely improvised, done in 10 minutes, and done in one take. So here we go. The last time we left off Byron the Silverblade, he was caught in a world between worlds, where the shadow that was passed down to him by birth and the light of his grandfather were fighting for his very soul. Byron was running into the woods, and ultimately he could feel the shadow's grasp over the strange reality he was in. And yet now he turns to the blade and begins to see images of his mother, begins to see the world around him, and notices that there is a distinct light in this darkness. There is a possibility of escaping. As he looks into the light, the shadow grows. It starts to fill the entire sky of this world, and all that most can see is black eyes enlightened by a red hue, taking over every possession of every being and allowing the shadow to control this world entirely. While Byron stares into the light, he begins to feel hope. He begins to feel the promise of something new, but a strange image begins to form around him, and he sees that it is none other than the young woman who he had seen, who tried to give him the blade to begin with. He sees her lying in a hospital bed, suffering from some unknown illness, but sweating profusely. Byron begins to feel guilt at the inability to save a life that tried to help him. He begins to realize that he must help this woman. He cries out, "Help me! Help me! Get me out of here, and I promise I will help this maiden." And within that moment, Byron calls out, and the light shines, piercing through the darkness, and a portal is created right before Byron. The shadow itself calls out, "Do this, betray me, and I will kill you. I will use you. I will use your corpse as a means to obliterate the world." And Byron suddenly feels himself falling into the portal of light, falling deeper and deeper into this unknown pit. And as he does, he awakes right at the hospital bed next to this maiden. The doctors look at him and go, "We thought you were dead, boy. We thought you were dead." However, Byron stands up and looks around. He begins to bend a knee, holding the hand of this maiden, and her sweating begins to stop. The blade calls out to Byron, save her, and you will be set on a different path." Byron holds the blade and lightly pricks her arm. He notices that within her right arm is a skelebeetle, a being of intense evil and darkness that feeds on the life force of others, a unique looking beetle with a skull embedded in its husk. Byron sees this, and he immediately, at the behest of his own will, cuts out the beetle. The doctors scream in panic as it crawls around, trying to hurt anyone. He wonders how he was able to know what to do. However, now the maiden is bleeding. She's hurting. Her sweating has stopped and her eyes begin to open, but the blade has done too much damage. It has caused this maiden to begin to bleed out. The doctors run over, and Byron says, "No, wait." He holds the blade in his hand and casts an enchantment through the use of his shadow. All of this instinctively happening, and yet he does not question it. He heats the blade and heals the maiden, but she forever will have a scar on her right arm. She wakes up and says, "It was you. You woke me up. How did you know what was affecting me?" Meanwhile, the skelebeetle continues to crawl through the alleyways and the hidden pathways of the village, trying to find its next perfect source so it can maintain more power. It then finds a young boy who is already down on his luck and filled with poverty, loss, and rejection. the skeletal crawls onto his leg and bites him, and then injects itself into the very being of this boy, and he falls to the ground. His mother cries out, but the boy can not be saved yet, not in the way that she is able to. He calls out and says, "I'm dying." They rush him over to the hospital, but before he can be saved, the last of his life essence is gone, and the beetle feeds on the very essence of this boy. However, as Byron continues to talk to the maiden, he wonders where the beetle went. He wonders how he knew what it was. And she grabs his hands and says, "Thank you. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for saving me from all that was befalling me." The skelebeetle is meant to carry life force to its master, and if we don't stop it, if we don't protect others from it, many lives will be lost in this village. She notices that Byron has the blade and begins to wonder what it is that it's been teaching him, what it is that it's been telling him. And within that, Byron calls out to her and says, "I promise you I will stop it." But as he says that, he hears more shrieking and he hears more and more mothers calling out, "My child, my child." And as Byron runs out, he sees that multiple children are now dead in the ground. The local wagons have started collecting the bodies, and Byron instinctively knows that it is the skelebeetle that is killing these children. He cries out in anger, wondering who could do such a thing to an ordinary child. But then he sees it. The skelebeetle is now going after him, but it is 5 feet bigger than it once was, and is now just draining the life of each villager via touch, as if it was death itself. Byron calls out in anger and says, "I will kill you. I will kill you." The beetle screeches, and Byron pulls out his blade and begins to run up against the creature's side, trying to slash it, but its own skeletal structure, its husk, allows it to maintain the blade's attack. It claws at him and he dodges. Meanwhile, the villagers continue to run away, afraid of what is happening as the beetle rampages in its battle against Byron. As it does, every attack Byron throws at it seems to not only hurt the beetle less and less, but it also seems to cause the bodies of the children to twitch, to hurt, to suffer from the pain that they felt. Byron then realizes that the beetle has stored the life energy of these humans within it. If he can find a way to release it, he can hopefully bring them back. However, he must now figure out how to be able to do such a thing, how to stop such a monstrous creature, how to defend against something that even a magical blade such as his cannot fight. As Byron reaches out and goes for one last slash, this time on the belly of the creature as he slides underneath it, he realizes that the blood of this creature is not ordinary. It's black like motor oil, and it seems to bring life to the ground beneath him. Byron realizes he must extract the blood from this creature and force feed it to the children. So in one mighty swing, he runs and aims to slash the creature in half through the bottom of its thorax. He runs at full speed, rounding around the creature, trying to distract it by throwing pebbles to prevent it from seeing him, to prevent it from clawing at him. And as he does, his speed picks up. He seems to run at inhuman speeds. And then finally he runs and dives under the creature, blade in hand, and prepares to cut the thorax in half. using the creature's only weak point to his advantage. And with that, we are going to call the story here. Jeez, my voice is almost completely gone. But it's good to know you guys enjoyed these stories. I will be uploading this today. I hope you're having a great day. I apologize for my voice. I've been doing multiple D&D sessions, and my voice has definitely taken a hit. I'll see you later. Keep up the nerd stuff. Know that you are truly, truly my people, and I'll see you in another video.